Martin Andanar, Malawi City Mayor Mahul Gandamra, HUD-C Assistant Secretary and Field Office Manager Felix Castro, NEDA Undersecretary Adora Navarro, and Mayor Rehencia of Iligan City. Now I'll turn you over to Secretary Martin Andanar for his report.
Maayong buntag, Mayor Gandamra, atong Yusek Labite, Yusek Navarro, Ase Castro, o atong Mayor Celso. May buntag, ug tanan na naminaw sa ato karon, may buntag ka natong tanan. Here, I have the latest information from Task Force Bangon Malawi. Let us start with a quick update on the situation of internally displaced persons. As of March 20, there are 1,648 families in 52 remaining evacuation centers in Region 10 and ARMM. Meanwhile, 41,175 families were identified as home-based IDPs within the said areas. Next slide, please. As for Malawi residents who have been allowed to return to their homes, the government has not wavered in aiding them. As of March 20, 322,481,808 pesos worth of DSWD support and maintenance services have been accessed by 27,770 displaced families who have returned to their respective barangays under Cluster 1 to 7 and 9. These services include financial assistance, pabaon food packs, hygiene kits, and kitchen kits. Next slide, please. Now we would like to report on and express our gratitude for the recent efforts of our international and local partners. In line with the recovery of Malawi City and its residents, we start with the World Food Program Philippines, which conducted a feeding program for the students of Camp Bagong Amay Pakpak Elementary School in Malawi City on March 13, 2018, as part of its emergency school meals project. The feeding program was led by WFP Philippines Country Director Stephen Gluning, WFP National Ambassador Against Hunger Casey Concepcion, Chef Tony Boy Escalante, and the Department of Education, Malawi City Division. Aside from the meal, slippers were distributed to the students and kitchen utensils were donated to their schools. The Japanese government, on the other hand, through Ambassador Koji Haneda, has turned over 27 sets of brand new heavy equipment to the TFBM Vice Chairperson and Department of Public Works and Highways Chief Mark Villar and TFBM Field Officer Manager and Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, Assistant Secretary Felix Castro Jr., for use in the government's rehabilitation program of Malawi City. The ceremonial handover took place at the Biyaya ng Pagbabago Transitional Shelter Site in Barangay Sagunsongan, Malawi City on March 15. The grant in the form of construction machineries is part of the Philippine-Japan Economic and Social Development Program. On a related note, Foreign Affairs Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano and Japan Ambassador to the Philippines Koji Haneda signed 2 new official development assistance projects to the Philippines amounting to 3.5 billion pesos on March 20 of 2018. 1 billion pesos of which will be used to further support the rehabilitation of Malawi City. The assistance would be coursed through various departments and with the supervision of the Task Force Bangon Malawi. Next slide, please. Mitsubishi Motors Philippines, through its President and CEO Mitsuhiro Oshikiri, also handed over 26 Mitsubishi utility vehicles to the Task Force Bangon Malawi. Through Executive Secretary Bingbong Medialdea and TFBM Field Office Manager Assistant Secretary Felix Castro Jr. These vehicles are expected to enhance the TFBM member agencies' logistical capacity to promptly provide assistance and aid to Malawi evacuees. Next slide, please. The U.S. government, through the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, announced a new assistance of 100 million pesos to boost food security in Malawi and surrounding areas. USAID is partnering with World Food Program to provide 1.8 million kilograms of rice to internally displaced persons. The ceremonial handover of rice held in Manila on March 14, 2018 was attended by U.S. Ambassador Sung Kim, Undersecretary Emmanuel Leico, Officer in charge of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, Assistant Secretary Christopher James Purisima, spokesperson of Task Force Bangon Malawi, and Mr. Stephen Gluning, the Country Director of the World Food Program. Next slide, please. Through a funding support from Belgium, the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, or FAO, in cooperation with the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries of the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, Department of Agriculture and the City Agricultural Office of Malawi distributed different agricultural inputs and tools to farmer beneficiaries of the agrarian reform communities of Malawi City on March 20, 2018. Next slide, please. The turnover was headed by Belgian Ambassador Michel Goffin in Barangay Dulay proper, one of the 13 ARCs in the city. Malawi farmers received certified rice seeds, bags of fertilizers, and assorted vegetable seeds. Packages for broiler and vegetable production were also distributed. The primary goal of the effort is to ensure food security in the city through boosting food production in agricultural barangays. Next slide, please. On humanitarian partners for different civil service and faith-based organizations also continue to provide different services to the affected residents of Malawi and nearby localities. Based on the report of the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, there are 139 organizations facilitating over 6,000 activities in aid of the Malawi residents' rehabilitation and recovery. These CSOs and NGOs are also involved in different clusters such as education, health, shelter, logistics, and the provision of non-food items. Next item, please. Last page. Recognizing the contributions of these organizations and our progress, and with the intent of integrating them with our ongoing plans, the provincial government of Lanao del Sur held a multi-stakeholders forum on March 20 to 21 at the new Capitol Complex in Malawi City. Next slide. Local chief executives, religious and traditional leaders, NGOs, women's groups, members of the academe, security force, business affiliates, youth organization, and international partners participated. Among the key topics discussed were the proposed development of the most affected areas, IDP return, NIS, livelihood programs, and a comprehensive rehabilitation and recovery program. That's all for my update. I now give the floor back to Undersecretary Harold Clavite.
Thank you, Secretary Martin. Now I'd like to call on for her part. This quick report from USEC Adora Navarro from NEDA.
Thank you, USEC Harold. Good morning, everyone. Let me give you updates on the formulation of the Bangon Marawi Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program. There is a PowerPoint presentation that's being loaded by the Secretariat. But as you well know, NEDA, as lead agency of the Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Planning Support Group, spearheads the formulation of the Bangon Marawi Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program, or BMCRRP. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. The organizational chart in the PowerPoint, next slide, please, shows you the different support groups. And the BMCRRP lays down the strategic interventions for the rehabilitation of Malawi City and other affected localities such as the municipalities of Butig and Piagapo. It contains the priority programs, projects, and activities, or PPAs, to be located outside the most affected areas and to be implemented from 2018 to 2022. For the most affected areas, or MAA, Executive Order Number 49, Series of 2018, shall guide the reconstruction process. Shown in this slide is the post-conflict rehabilitation and the recovery framework. And in the framework, it is shown that the rehabilitation and recovery PPAs will deliver outcomes in 6 sectors. These sectors are local governance and peace building, housing and settlement, livelihood and business development, physical infrastructure, social services, and land resource management. Next slide. We did a bottom-up planning process in coming up with the BMCRRP. We ensured that the approach for planning for the rehabilitation of Malawi City and affected localities is participatory as we engage key stakeholders in the process, particularly the ARMM and the affected LGUs. The sectoral PPAs identified by the national government agencies took off from the identified needs of the LGUs because we want the BMCRRP to capture the hopes and aspirations of the affected communities and give primary importance to their recommended programs, projects, and activities, or PPAs. Next slide. This shows you an example of a consultation process we conducted, the latest one, that's last Tuesday and Wednesday. And around 700 stakeholders from different sectors, such as local chief executives, women's groups, religious and traditional leaders, CSOs, media, the academe, IDP community, youth organizations, and line agencies were present in this activity. Next slide. Let me give you highlights of the key priority programs, projects, and activities that are contained in the evolving BMCRRP, which, by the way, will still have to be approved by the President on the first week of April. So for physical infrastructure, the key PPAs are rehabilitation, reconstruction of transportation infrastructure and utilities, reconstruction, construction of social infrastructure, rehabilitation or construction of livelihood and tourism support facilities, reconstruction or construction of government facilities. Next slide. Under social services sector, the key categories of PPAs are provision of educational support programs for affected learning institutions and students, provision of cash assistance to affected population, for example, pensions for senior citizens, and financial assistance for displaced students, and implementation of various health and nutrition programs. For the livelihood and business development sector, the categories include provision of production support services for farmers and fisher folks in Malawi City, Butig, and Piagapo, emergency livelihood and livelihood restoration programs for IDPs, capacity building and skills training programs for IDPs, returnees, and out-of-school youth, tourism development and promotion programs, cooperative development programs. For housing and settlement sector, the shelter modalities for affected families will meet their varying requirements. Categories are transitory shelter, permanent housing, financial assistance, home materials assistance, and other shelter assistance programs or financing assistance from government corporations. Next slide. For local governance and peace building, the categories of PPAs fall under support to local governance and social healing and peace building. Examples of PPAs under social healing and peace building are social and healing and peace building activities for LGUs of Lanao del Sur and Lanao del Norte and Malawi City, National Youth Empowerment Training Program, Islamic values formation for Marawi City, Butig, and Piaga po, and provision for peace, order, and security equipment for the PNP, BFP, Bureau of Jail and Management, and the Barangay Peace Action teams. For land resource management, the PPAs fall under the categories land management and environment management. Examples of specific PPAs under land management are reconstruction of cadastral survey data, lot survey and titling, land use classification, and creation of potential land conflict resolution mechanisms and options. At present, the evolving BMCRRP has 860 plus projects, and the most number of projects are in the livelihood and the business development sector. Ways forward. Currently, we are in the later stages of composing the narrative portion of the BMCRRP and finalizing the list of PPAs. NEDA will be submitting on March 31 the final BMCRRP to the task force chair, Secretary Del Rosario, who will in turn endorse the same to the President and seek the latter's approval. We're targeting first week of April 2018 for that. Thank you very much, and thank you for supporting our efforts for Bangon Marawi Rehabilitation and Recovery.
Thank you very much, Undersecretary Navarro from the Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Reconstruction Support Group. Now, we will take the first question. And we have Mr. Omel, Mr. Richel.
Good morning to all our guest. Ako po si Richel Omel, Philippine Delayed Choir, ma'am. My question is, I was able to interview or to talk with some of the evacuees in Maria Cristina, Iligan City. They informed me that they will be going back to Marawi, but not in, of course, not in former MBA, but to a certain area where they will be given shelter. Ang question po nila, sir, na kumusta na yung pinangako ni Secretary Del Rosario? Kasi hindi malinaw sa kanila. Although that was a proposal sa aming level, we understand it. Pero sa kanila, it seems there is a communication gap. At kinumusta nila ang amount na gipromise ni Secretary Del Rosario na 50,000 to 70,000, correct me if I'm wrong, especially for the renters na babalik doon sa Marawi. Renters who are not resident of Marawi, but they will go back to their respective towns. Ano bang update nito? Was it remain a promise, or is there any alternative option to finance their transfer? Para yung apat na evacuation centers sa Iligan, maklear na for evacuees. Sino bang pwede makasagot dito? Thank you. Pero may question pa ko, follow-up later. Sige, Mayor.
Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat at maraming salamat at tayo nabibigyan ng pagkakataon na mabigyan kayo ng updates on what's going on sa Marawi City. Doon po sa katanungan ng ating kapatid from the media, he was asking about the commitment by the Task Force Bangon Marawi with regard to the support, financial assistance to those evacuees who are originally from some municipalities of Lanao del Sur na apektado rin ng kaguluhan sa Marawi City. Yan po ay patuloy po na nagkakaroon ng pag-uusap with the Task Force Bangon Marawi at yan po ay hindi lang ho commitment kundi ating napag-uusapan that it will be realized soon dahil nagkakaroon ho ng appropriation. Hindi ho kagad-agad ay mabibigyan natin ng financial support, magkakaroon ho tayo ng appropriation. But I think Asik Castro can also further explain on that. At yan po ay magkakaroon ho ng realization. Yun po ang sinabi sa atin ng Task Force Bangon Marawi.
General Castro, sir.
Matutuloy po yan. Ang ginagawa natin ngayon, kumukuha tayo ng mga pangalan, actual names, data, ng mga renters. So, para malaman natin ilan ba talaga at sino ba yung makikinabang. And it takes a while, kinukuha natin yan. At pag nakita na natin yung pangalan at mga numero, kukuhaan na natin ng pondo. But that will push through. Yung 50,000 to 70,000, hindi pa yun firm, hindi pa yun final. It will depend on the funds available. Pero ang sinasabi natin, kahit na sila ay nakauwi na dun sa kanilang probinsya, dating pinanggalingan, at lumabas yung pondo, lumabas yung benefits, it will still be given to them. They will be contacted through the SWD at sasabihin sa kanila kung saan nila makukuha yung financial assistance sa mga bumabalik sa kanya-kanyang probinsya.
For those who are residing at the ground zero, sir, anong benefit nila once they will be going back to Marawi? Saan sila magstay? Doon ba sa Sagungsungan or sa Bahay Pag-asa 2 or other temporary shelters, sir?
Para po doon sa mga nakatira, for those who used to live in the most affected area, they are given priority to the dun sa shelters natin. The temporary shelters that we are building. We have actually 5 sites already and there will be a 6th site. Nag-ground preparations lang ngayon. So that is for the residents of the most affected area. Now what we are doing is by April 1, they will be allowed to visit their houses and get things. They will be given opportunity na kunin yung mga gamit nila in preparation for the rehabilitation. Bibigyan natin sila ng chance. And the usual support na binibigay ng DSWD, they are entitled to that. Tinitingnan natin kung paano natin sila mabigyan ng financial support. Hindi pa natin mabigay ang mga details ngayon kasi kukunan pa doon ng fund sources.
Thank you. Can I proceed to second concern on rehabilitation aspect with the permission of Director Saneda and Secretary Antanar, sir and ma'am? Okay. By the way, ako po pala si Richie Lomel, isang simpleng journalist inquirer. Ma'am, I saw a text message from a very reliable person na according to the text message, in terms of rehabilitation, 5 ang na-shortlist to be selected among them. 4 ang Chinese investors at 1 ang Malaysian investors. To maybe they will be contracted for the rehabilitation. Gaano ba ito ka-credible? At ano bang update as far as the upcoming rehabilitation of Marawi is concerned? Thank you, sir.
You're referring to the most affected area because you talk about shortlisting of
Yes, ma'am, sa MBA po.
those.
Not MBA na ngayon.
Yes.
Sa 24
what NEDA is
barangays.
preparing is the rehabilitation program for areas outside the most affected area because there is a separate guideline for the most affected area, and that is the executive order that I mentioned earlier. What's the logic behind this? Bakit ganito? Bakit mauuna itong BMCRRP for areas outside the most affected area? Because we do not want to sacrifice yung interventions for areas outside that MAA. For the MAA, what is required is a more detailed master urban development planning. Kaya that's the wisdom of the EO, no, to have a separate process for the MAA. Now, on your question, it's as if you're asking me to verify whether the text that you receive about 5 potential developers of the MAA being shortlisted. I cannot comment on that because I am not a member of the committee that is shortlisting the developers. I recommend to the public that we trust the government. Let's wait for the completion of the process for first, strategizing for the MAA, and second, for selecting who is the most appropriate partner in developing the MAA. And given that there is already an EO, and in that EO, there is a prescription there on the process, I have seen naman that the task force chair is transparent in divulging information that is for public consumption. And one of that is the joint venture guidelines that has been published. No? Now, for the other processes, no, there are good reasons kaya those processes are not for public consumption yet. So I hope that the public will trust in the wisdom of that. Thank you.
Let me correct. I did not receive the message, but the reliable person who happens to be one of my best friends showed me the text message from the source. Anyway, we will not force anybody here to answer that question. Just give us the guidelines once it is appropriate time. However, si Vice Governor Adjong was interviewed by Inquirer, I think si Divina, or kami mga media, during the visit of President Duterte during the inauguration of Bahay Pag-asa 2. He made mention na he was not consulted, or maybe masilip lang or magbigay ng comment sa total development plan sa rehabilitation sa Malawi. Which, accordingly, he deserved to be involved or informed properly and be updated. Thank you. That's my last question. Maybe Secretary Andanar or ikaw, ma'am, makasagot nito. Thank you very much.
Brief answer. Although I'm not a member of the committee that is looking into that, I have seen naman the composition of the members, no, and the province, because your question refers to the reaction of Vice Governor Adjong, Vice Governor of Lanao del Sur. The province is represented in the committee, and in the published guidelines, it also says there that the LGUs are represented. So there are representatives by the mayor, and there are also representatives by Governor Adjong, and of course, Vice Governor Adjong. So may representation naman po.
Thank you very much. Also from the Philippine Daily Inquirer, I'd call on Ms. Divina Suson. Okay. Radyo Pilipinas by Sora Sargal.
Ano, Inquirer? Ano, Inquirer?
Later na lang si Divina. Si Bay. Please go ahead.
Good morning to all of you here, especially to Sir Martin Andanar. Soras Abdullah Sarigala here of TXS Radyo Pilipinas, Malawi, and I'm also the president of Malawi Broadcasters Association. Sir, my first question is about the claimor of the ITPs in Malawi City. Nasabi nga ni Ma'am kanina, last Tuesday and Wednesday was held yung Multi-Stakeholders Forum sa Malawi City. Isa po sa output ng workshop, yun pong gusto nila, healing nila, na maging transparency yung lahat na mga tulong, financial assistance para sa mga IDP sa Malawi. Wala pong problema sa LGU Malawi at sa LGU ng Province of Lanao del Sur kasi meron po silang napakalaking tarpaulin kung saan nilalagay po nila doon yung lahat na natanggap nilang tulong from outside and within the Philippines. Now, sa kanila, meron din po daw mga offices, even civil society organizations in some other places of the country na kumukolekta po ng mga tulong para sa Marawi. Ang gusto nila, maging transparency ang lahat na tulong para sa Marawi. Baka daw, maraming tulong na natanggap na hindi napunta sa Marawi. Can we help these IDPs sa kanilang healing, sir? And number 2 question ko is, as president of the Marawi Broadcasters Association, we have 3 TV stations and 3 radio stations inside the ground zero or the most affected areas. Baka po daw may tulong ang gobyerno para po sa mga stations na ito. And last question ko po is about sa ground zero ng mga residente. Isa din po sa lumabas na output ng workshop, yung nasabi ni ma'am, na nakita ng mga IDPs yung perspective sa ground zero sa mga most affected areas. Nung makita nila yung napakagandang ilalagay doon ng mga structures, ang tanong nila, saan daw titira yung mga residente na patatayuan ng mga malalaking structures na doon po sila nakatira. So, kagabi po actually, hanggang alas 12 ng hating gabi, tumatanggap po ako ng mga katanungan. Sabi ko, sige, ipaparating ko po yan bukas kay Sir Martin. Kasi darating po siya bukas dito sa Task Force Bangon Marawi Mahugan News. So, yan lang po. Thank you po.
Yung first and the third question. Si Mayor, si Asek, ako yung pangalawa. I will answer the second question, which refers to the broadcasting companies that you have inside the Marawi, if we can help. Now, the PCOO, together with Task Force Bangon Marawi, have already discussed this last year. As a matter of fact, there was already a budget allocated for this to the tune of around 30 million pesos to set up a government television station, and also to beef up Radyo Pilipinas, the presence that you have in Marawi. But unfortunately, what happened last December was naubusan tayo ng oras because of the procurement law. Meron kasing X number of days that are needed for us to be able to purchase the broadcast equipment. So therefore, the last cabinet meeting, I resubmitted the proposal to Secretary Del Rosario, and I also gave a proposal to the DND Secretary. It shouldn't be a problem setting up government TV station and improving Radyo Pilipinas in your area. For the first and the third questions, I would propose that the Mayor will answer that and Asek Felix.
Po, sir. Actually, yung 3 TV stations and 3 radio stations are all private po yun, sir. Hindi yun government. So baka daw pwede silang matulungan ng government na sa pagpatayo ulit ng kanilang mga TV and radio stations, sir.
It shouldn't be a problem, but we prioritize the government stations for now. Kung natay mga extra, if I can talk to several private donors, then why not? Thank you.
Salamat ulit doon sa katanungan. Yung unang katanungan po ay with regards to the donations coming from outside and from within the Philippines. Yung ating local government of Marawi City ay I believe, naging transparent tayo doon sa mga donations coming from our donors. In fact, nasabi ng ating kapatid from the media na meron tayong posting doon sa City Hall mismo. At makikita ho natin kung ano yung mga tulong, ayuda galing sa ating mga kababayan na nagmagandang loob po. With regards doon naman ho sa mga tulong galing sa mga binibigay po, it was coursed through the private sectors or civil society. Ayan po ay tama po yan. Dapat po magkaroon din ho tayo ng accountabilities. Nang sa ganon, ang ating mga IDPs or affected constituents ay maliwanagan sila kung saan napupunta ang mga tulong galing sa iba't ibang sektor. Doon naman po sa pangatlong katanungan, doon kung because of this rehabilitation or reconstruction, massive rehabilitation or reconstruction na gagawin sa loob ng most affected areas na tinatanong nyo, Of course, there will be gagamitin natin ng mga because of the land use, no? That there might be possibilities of displacement of our constituents. Doon po sa mga series of consultations with our different stakeholders ay nasabi po natin na wala ho madi-displace dito. Dahil ang ating gagamitin ay yung unang-una po yung pag-aari ng gobyerno na ngayon ay ginagamit pa rin ng ating gobyerno. At yung pag-aari ng gobyerno na inukupa po ng mga private individuals. Yan po ay maaring isa sa mga potensyal na maaring gagamitin para doon sa gagawing development sa loob ng most affected areas. Pangatlo po, ay maaari din tayong gumamit ng mga private properties, private land, because as a result of this possible expansion of government structures like roads and drainages and kung ano pa ang pwedeng ipatayo, ay of course magkakaroon ho tayo ng konting sakripisyo na dapat natin i-contribute. At yun naman po ay may kaukulang compensation coming from the government. So yan po ay nagkakaroon tayo ng consultation with our stakeholders, especially the constituents from the ground zero.
Maraming salamat. We call on Roxanne Arevalo, ABS-CBN.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Roxana Arevalo. Sir, my question goes to Mayor Attorney Mahul Gandabra and Mayor Celso Rehencia, sir. Ano na po yung, sir, nag-decide na ba kung talagang i-pull out na yung mga evacuees from the evacuation centers here in Iligan by the end of this month? And secondly po, marami dun sa mga evacuees who couldn't wait to be transferred dun sa pabahay sa Malawi City and kaya naman nilang bumili ng mga properties, bought some units here sa Bayanihan Village na isang pabahay sana ng mga sendong survivors, ibinenta ng mga sendong survivors yung units tapos binili mostly ng mga evacuees. So, paano po ba i-resolve ito? Thank you.
Well, magandang katanungan po yan dahil yan ay ngayong medyo mainit na issue, no? Doon ho sa pagbabalik ng ating mga kababayan na in-accommodate ng ating mahal na mayor ng Iligan City at ng constituents ng Iligan City, tayo po ay nagpapasalamat sa patuloy nilang pag-accommodate sa ating mga kababayan. In fact, mag-isang taon na ho ay yung iba po ay nandito pa rin at patuloy pa rin na binibigyan ng suporta ng ating mahal na mayor ng Iligan City. Well, we understand that may mga public facilities na dapat din nilang gamitin, especially that itong parating na graduation rights dito sa iba't ibang paaralan kung saan mayroon tayong mga evacuees. At nag-usap po kami ni Mayor, ang aking kaibigan, si Mayor Celso Rehencia, noong unang nag-request sila na baka daw pwede na ilipat na kasi gagamitin daw. And then he told me that hindi naman sa ayaw niyang patirahin ng ating mga kababayan. But of course, because of the needs also, ay kailangan din namin intindihin yon. So, nagkaroon tayo ng extension and it was extended to until March 31 or the end of this month. At ako po ay nagsulat kay Mayor Rehencia and I hope na-receive po niya dahil ho ang aming lokal na pamahalaan ng Malawi City ay gumagawa ho ng paraan aside from the construction of temporary shelters that we will be accommodating our affected constituents, ay meron ho kaming ginawang temporary relocation site sa may barangay Marawi Poblacion at it will cater at least 300 families or more at doon po namin ililipat yung mga kababayan natin na nasa nasabing government facilities ng Iligan City. At yun po ay humingi tayo ng at least 15 days until April 15, 2018 sa ating mahal na mayor na kung pwede ay bigyan po tayo ng at least 2 weeks na para mailipat na ho natin agad ang ating mga kababayan. At I hope na-receive po ng ating mahal na mayor. Maraming salamat po.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Unang-una po yung tungkol nga sa paglipat ng mga evacuees natin galing sa Iligan City back to Malawi City. And today is exactly 10 months mula noong nagkaroon ng gera doon sa Malawi City. At saka ang masabi ko lang is nag-uusap kami ni Sir, ni Asik Castro tungkol doon sa paglipat o pagbalik ng ating mga evacuees, no? So sabi ni Sir Mayor, sana mapagbigyan mo ako na hanggang 31 March dahil nga sa mga bata nga dito nag-aaral ngayon sa Iligan City, so inunawa natin yon kasi naman dapat matulungan ang mga bata. Tungkol naman sa sinabi ni Mayor Mahol Gandamra, hindi ko pa natatanggap yung sulat na magkaroon ng extension kasi naman po month of April, May, and June, maraming kapistahan dito sa Iligan kasi po Christian na dominant itong siyudad na to. Sana naman po yung mga temporary shelter natin na para sa mga evacuees ay mapagawa na po, Mayor, para naman po magagamit natin ang gymnasium natin at saka yung isang paralan kasi 4 naman lang yung evacuation center natin dito. Yung fishery school sa Boroon, yung auditorium ng Boroon, yung auditorium ng Maria Cristina at saka yung auditorium ng Santa Elena. Tungkol naman po doon sa Madam Roxanne, sa mga tao na nagbibinta po ng mga bahay, lalo na yung mga biktima sa Sindong, ngayong April 2 po ay mayroon na tayong nagawa ako ng task force tungkol doon sa mga tao na nagbibinta ng mga bahay-bahay nila na binigay sa gobyerno at saka yung mga tao din po na bumibili ng mga bahay na kung saan ito po ay illegal. Kasi po, klarong-klaro doon, ni-review ko yung kontrata, 15 years, hindi nila pwede na ibinta, hindi nila pwede paarkilahan, hindi nila pwede improve muna. Pangalawa, kung hindi na nila gusto na tumitira doon sa bahay na pinoprovide sa gobyerno, ay dapat ibalik nila sa gobyerno. So mayroon na po na akong task force kasi kung hindi natin tuldukan ang problemang ito, walang katapusan talaga itong mga tao natin na nabibigyan na ng bahay tapos ibinta. Kung hindi tayo makialam dito, ay yun lang palagi, naghihingi ng bahay, binigyan ng bahay tapos ibinta. Na klaro naman doon sa use of frac contract na hindi nila pwede yung ibinta at saka paarkilahan yung bahay nila. So internal problem yun dito sa Iligan City. Lulutasin ko po ito para naman po na yung mga biktima sa Sindong ay hindi palaging hihingi ng bahay dito sa atin po. Yun lang po.
Thank you. Roxanne, you're okay? Joining us also now here is Lieutenant Colonel Wilfredo Amoma from the Joint Task Force Runao of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. If you have questions for the AFP, please direct your questions to Colonel Amoma. Manila Bulletin, Ms. Irma Bonita.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Ang tanong ko po yung concern ng mga IDPs, nagbisita kami doon sa Maria Cristina. May IDP doon na mga Christians. Ang concern nila, ayaw na daw nilang bumalik sa Marawi. So ang tanong nila, pwede bang merong space sa Christian area na ibibigay sa kanila instead na ipabalik sila doon sa Marawi?
Pwede ho natin gawin yun. In fact, may mga NGOs na nakipag-coordinate sa amin na para doon sa mga gustong tumira sa ibang lugar and pwede nilang hanapan ng lupa at patuyuan ng bahay. Mag-usap po tayo mamaya, kukunin natin yung mga pangalan at paano natin kakausapin natin ito para matulungan sila.
I would like to add something po. Yung category na yon, merong isang responsive specific project na hahanapan ng pondo, nakapilang ngayon sa BMCRRP, it's called Send Home a Family Program. It's a financial assistance para doon sa hindi original na nakatira sa Marawi and na-displaced because of the conflict and they opt to return to their hometowns. So yun po ay Send Home a Family Program.
Thank you. Salem Arellano, DXEJ.
Hello. This question goes to our military. We have heard from the newsline from the TV network from Manila, of which they said that the rehabilitation in Marawi will be delayed because there are still bombs in the area. How true is this news?
Yes, sir. Maraming salamat po dun sa inyong tanong at sa lahat isang bayanihang umaga. You are referring to the UXO, the unexploded ordnance. Yes, correct. We are still on the process of clearing this UXO in the main battle area or the most affected areas comprising of 24 barangays. The Joint Task Group builders, our engineering units, who are primarily conducting these clearing operations, has set the deadline to finish this before the end of the month, prior the implementation of the Camp Bisita, which was initiated by the Task Force Bangon Marawi. As of now, the recent development, we have still UXOs to be cleared in the areas. So this is actually the main reason why we have to wait until such time that we will be able to clear all these UXOs prior to the implementation of the Camp Bisita.
Okay, sir. Follow up, sir. How long it will take, sir, in as much as we have learned from the victims, they are eager to return in that place. How long it will take?
Yes, sir. We have already set the deadline before the end of the month because the Camp Bisita will take effect on 1 April. So before that period, the clearing must be completed.
If I may add, kasi po yung most affected area, ginawan ng 9 na sectors, So sa ngayon, yung sector na lang na malapit sa Lake Lanao ang hindi talaga natatapos. So yung pagbabalik ng mga kababayan natin doon sa mga bahay nila, uunahin din natin by sector. So doon sa mga cleared sectors na talaga, mauuna yun yung mas malayo sa Lake Lanao. But naka-pacing na ito, may timetable na ito, and sabi nga ni Kana Moma, ay masusunod natin yung timetable.
Thank you, Asek. I'd like to call on Radio Mindanao Network. Jiner Kabanday.
Good morning. My question to Sir Felix Castro. Hindi ko na matandaan, sir, kung kailan kami bumisita sa Sagyaran. Pero sabi ng mga IDPs doon na kulang-kulang pa din daw yung natanggap nila ng mga relief goods. Ang talong lang nila kung hanggang kailan o masustain yung matatanggap nila ng mga supply, lalong-lalo na sa mga relief goods. Thank you.
Opo, yung DSWD po ay sa ngayon, nagre-request sila ng mga pondo para matuloy-tuloy yung pagbibigay ng ating relief goods. Nagkaroon lang ng konting gap dahil at the start of the year, medyo antay ng pondo, plus may procurement process na susundin. Ngayon po ay mahigpit tayong sumusunod dun sa procurement process. And in so doing, may konting delay. But nasa pipeline na po yan. Ang sabi ng DSWD, malapit na lumabas at pagka dumating na yung mga napamili, tuloy-tuloy po yung pagbibigay natin ng relief goods.
Thank you. Dandy Makarambon, Radyo Pilipinas.
Good morning po sa ating lahat. Sir, follow up ko lang po dun sa yung continuing po na clearing operations natin of unexploded bombs, no, and other improvised explosive devices. Meron daw pong binigay na tagfa 5 days para doon sa maaring makabalik, no, sa mga cleared areas para silipin, hakutin anumang mahahakot na mga gamit sa kanilang bahay. And after 5 days, paalisin ulit at ikakandado for the preparation po sa development ng area ng Ground Zero. Is it right po na info? Po. Take for 5 days?
Hindi po.
They're scheduled.
Meron po tayong susundin na schedule. We will come up with the schedule. Sa ngayon po kasi, sila ay nag-ocular inspection dun sa baba. Yes, kasama po yung kanilang mga barangay captains. So, ayusin po yung schedule at we will come up with the final schedule by Monday. Magli-release po kami ng mga flyers. Nakadrawing na po doon yung sectors. Susundin po natin yung mga sectors at nakalagay po doon yung araw. Specific na po yung araw na ilalagay natin. April 1 to 4, may pahinga po. Pagkatapos 6 to 8, pahinga uli. So we will come up with that hopefully by Monday pag natapos nila yung ocular inspection nila. Kasama po yung mga barangay captains. Kasi po, it will not be by barangays, it will be by sector.
By sector.
Opo. It will be bounded by streets. So we will come up with the flyer para makita mismo doon kung ano yung boundary ng Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3. At ilalabas po natin yan. Nakalagay din doon specific na araw na. April 1 to 3, April 1 to 4. Ilalagay na natin doon para walang kaguluhan. At meron na tayong enough time to disseminate that. We will start by April 1. So nagdi-disseminate na tayo ngayon.
Then how true po, baka hindi daw po ma-meet yung ano natin, nakaset na deadline for the clearing operations, no? By end, because yung mga ibang equipment daw po, tulad ng backhoe, nasira daw po. Kaya humihingi daw ng tulong sa, saan ba tayo, pwede ba humingi ng tulong sa DPWH? Baka karagdagang mga kagamitan, equipment to push through, no, with the clearing of the bombs, unexploded bombs.
Ang pangako naman po ng engineers ay mamimit nila yung ating timeline.
Okay.
So kaya April 1, magtutuloy ho tayo dyan. At sabi ko nga kanina, it will be by sector. Okay. Yung nasa taas na mga sectors, uunahin. Habang nagpupunta naman yung mga ibang sectors, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung pagtatrabaho ng engineers. But in such a way that it will be safe for those coming in na pumunta sa loob.
Yes, sir. That was follow-up questions po, sir. Ito na po yung question ko kay Mayor Gandamara at saka sa task force na rin po. Patungkol po dito sa mga matatamaan na lupa ng mga residente, no? Meron daw talaga pong matatamaan at yung iba parang papayag pero kailangan bayaran daw po sila. So ano po yung proseso nito para alamin din kung kanila ba talaga yung lupa para po legal, no? Yung proseso nito at saka yung pagbabayad po dun sa dapat bayaran po na maapektuhan ng mga lupa. For instance, na narinig ko po para may clarification din. Halimbawa po, 1,000 hectares, no? So baka daw po yung 750, di matamaan, may 250 doon, matatamaan, baka mabayaran yung 250 halimbawa. So ano po yun talaga yung arrangement o yung agreement po patungkol po dito, Mayor, at saka sa task force po. Thank you, thank you.
Salamat po sa katanungan. Palagi po yan tinatanong sa amin. At gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, doon sa development or reconstruction ng Malawi City ay maaring mayroong matama ang mga private lands dahil wala po tayong paglalagyan kung wala pong lupa na lalagyan ng mga gagawing infrastruktura. Tama po yun at nagkakaroon po ng assessment. Yung pong mga tatamaan, of course, we have to identify the legitimate owners through yung mga proof of ownership, may mga titulo, at yung wala namang titulo, pero yun ay pag-aari nila, hindi lang nila na ititulo, ay magkakaroon tayo ng Land Dispute Arbitration Committee, which will be composed of the different sectors and headed by the Task Force Bangon Marawi, at ang local government of Malawi City and other sectors. Yun po ang mag-identify kung sakasakali po mayroong dispute doon sa ownership. At doon naman po sa kung magkano po yung ibabayad ay magkakaroon din ho ng of course assessment kung magkano po talaga yung market value ng lupa during the itong pag-expropriate ng ating gobyerno for public use.
Meron pong plano na magkakaroon ng meeting ata with the concerned residents po para maiwasan na rin na dumating sa punto na may dispute. Opo, sir.
Meron po. Kaya po, binubuo natin yung, in fact, nabuo po natin ang yung struktura ng organization ng Land Dispute Arbitration Committee. At yun po ay well represented ang ating mga different sectors.
Thank you. Before I call on my last two, may quick follow-up lang si PDI. Divina? Oh, I'm sorry. Kasi you stepped out. All right.
Sir, may dadagdag ata si manager dun sa...
Ay, sorry. Yes, yes. Si Castro.
Ayun ho, gaya ng sabi ni Mayor, lahat ng lupa na gagamitin ay babayaran to the proper legal owner of the land. Wala hong gagamitin ng gobyerno na hindi makukompensate.
Thank you. So si Divina won't be asking anymore? Wala na. Si Richel na lang? Or?
Yung tanong
ko
kanina sana. Yung tanong ko sana.
Okay.
Okay. Military matters ito, sir. Pero I think Secretary Andanar and Colonel Amona, maybe you are the proper or appropriate na mag-release sa Malacanang, no? Military matters, hindi na ito rehab. Medyo part siya sa rehab, pero vital ito eh. Correct me, Secretary Castro, yung nabanggit mo when we were in Malawi. Out of 75 OXOs or unexploded ordnance, may 15 pa? Or 15 na ang na-detonate? Tama ba yan? Or 15 pa ang naiwan? Na yung sa OXO? 15 ang naiwan? Or na-detonate na?
Kukuha tayo ng updated, but yung huling na namin, 15 na lang yata yung naiwan. Ayun, ang Army ang updated.
Colonel Amona, sir.
Yes, sir. Yung pong na unearthed na mga UXOs, doon po sa mais, still about mga 18 out of the 70. But still, we have the remaining doon po sa 70, in which the Juntas Group builders natin are still clearing this. So, but on the matter of IEDs, there were about hundreds were already recovered and disposed.
Okay, sir. Talking about the OXO, I'm not an accountant, but I'd like to relay this to the higher authority. Yun bang mga unexploded ordnance, ibig sabihin DUDs na yun? Assuming na DUDs na yung hindi pumutok na mga bomba na 250 pounder, 500 pounder, mula sa carrier ng FA-50, kung nag-DUDs yun, is it possible na ma-relay ito sa Malacanang through the separate auditing entity of the Armed Forces of the Philippines? Kung i-audit ito, pwede ba ito ibalik or i-report sa supplier? Kasi separate ng supplier ng FA-50 carrier at sa supplier ng bomba na pero sa yung mga mall, no exchange of no return eh. Pero ito, mga bomba ito na unexploded. At how much would it cost? Pwede ba siyang pa-refund sa supplier through the request of Malacanang, through the efforts of Malacanang and AFP. Is it possible na magano'n? Kasi sayang eh. Sayang ba na nakagastos ang government tapos hindi pumutok? Okay lang, ang advantage, walang natamaang buhay, yung hindi pumutok. Paano ba ang proseso nito, sir? Is it possible, sir? Thank you.
Ganito, no? Marami pong dahilan kung bakit hindi pumuputok ang bomba. Hindi lang po yung pagbagsak. Meron hong handling. Meron hong sa climate, temperature, marami ang dahilan yan. Pag meron hong hindi sumabog, usually the procedure is nagsasabit ng report, pinag-aaralan kung bakit, so marami hong proseso na yan. At titingnan din kung gaano katanda na yung bomba. So there are so many factors. Of course, pwedeng in the end, kung nakita natin, ma-improve natin na depekto ng factory o ng pinagbilihan natin, that is one of the recourse that we could do. But there will have to be a review, a study of the circumstances na bakit hindi sumabog yon. Sabi mo nga, iba-ibang klaseng bomba ito and different conditions, different ages ng mga bomba. No? But it could be one option of the Philippine Air Force.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you. I stand by si Val and BM, I'll call on Divina.
My first question is for NEDA. Tapos may tanong ako sa military and follow-up kanina for Mayor Rehencia. For NEDA, ma'am, natanggap nyo na po ba yung sulat, appeal ng Lanao Muslim Contractors Association na they are appealing, mga group of contractors, Muslim contractors, na i-allow sila to participate and accommodate qualified and competent local contractors in the bidding process sa rehabilitasyon ng Marawi. Ano po yung sagot natin dito? Ano po yung sagot natin dito? At saka sa military, sir, yung alam mo yung rekorida ng CMOU na pumupunta sa mga barangay-barangay at saka sa mga munisipyo, dala-dala yung mobile truck na kampanya nyo against loose firearms. Epektibo po ba yun, sir? How effective? At saka si Mayor Rehencia, follow up dun sa tanong kanina, dun sa pagpabalik ng mga evacuees. Pag natanggap nyo po ba yung sulat, kasi sabi nyo kanina hindi nyo natanggap, pag natanggap nyo ba yung sulat ni Mayor Mahul na to extend their stay on February 15, ibibigay po ba?
Thank you for your questions. Let me answer the first one because it's directed to NEDA. The letter of Lanao Contractors Association, hindi pa nakakarating sa office ko mismo, but I'm not aware if it reached the NEDA premises or the NEDA official email address. But let me explain the principle of competitive procurement. No? For infrastructure projects of DPWH, these are always posted in PhilGEPS, the electronic government procurement system. So, allowed naman to participate ang Lanao Contractors Association. Wala namang nagbabawal for them to participate. With respect to the construction that will happen in the most affected area, because the partner there will be a big developer because of the huge undertaking. But there is still a requirement, as far as I know, for them to use local labor, local contractors, because there are activities that will have to be subcontracted. That's the usual case, diba, in big projects, there are subcontractors. And there is a requirement to, as much as possible, majority of the activities to be subcontracted, as much as possible, use local firms. Or also, with respect to labor, use local labor. So, yun yung nakarating sa akin na information with respect to the big development that will happen in the MAA. But even if hindi pa nag-uumpisa yung activities in the MAA, I encourage the local contractors to look forward to the construction activities that will take place, bantayan in field checks, because there are surely many construction activities, no, particularly sa DPWH, DepEd for the rehabilitation, construction of school facilities, National Housing Authorities, shelter programs. There are many opportunities for them.
Thank you, Yusek. Before I call on the last two, may Colonel, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you po doon sa tanong. At present, the so-called mobile CMO support unit band, ito po yung tinatanong nyo na umiikot. We have this effort, the so-called loudspeaker operations, calling on the concerned citizens to include LGUs on the implementations of surrendering of lost firearms. Just recently, for the appreciations of the attendees here, we have about 24 assorted high-powered firearms from the municipality of Piagapo, in response of these operations. That was 16 March, no less than Mayor Ali Sumandar, who have voluntarily surrendered those lost firearms to our division commander, Major General Rosiler Morello, who have spearheaded the activity. And we have still so many municipalities within the Lanao del Sur, and to include Lanao del Norte, of course, who have responded the calling of the military sector. This is also in line with the upcoming barangay elections to surrender these firearms, lost firearms. Because if we have note, in North Cotabato, about hundreds who have responded also this one, Cotabato, Maguindanao province, about 200, and even Zamboanga City to include Hulu, the Sulu provinces, responded on this panawagan po ng ating AP, no, on the mass surrender of lost firearms. So our MC issue are very effective. That's why we are exerting our effort in regards to this effort, and of course our LGUs to respond. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor? Yes.
Tungkol naman po sa katanungan ni Madam, sa akin po, as of now, I still adhere sa usapan namin ni Sir Castro na doon sa opisina ko. Sabi ko, Sir, usapang lalaki ito. Na sana naman, mayroon pa tayong 8 days. Alam ko na yung mga evacuees natin is atat na rin makabalik sa lugar nila. Nagpapasalamat ako niyan. Tungkol naman sa tanong na kung mabasa ko yung letter na pinadala ni Mayor Mahol Gandamra sa opisina ko, I will cross the bridge when I get there.
Thank you, Mayor. May katanungan lang po na pinadala sa social media, just very quickly, galing kay Asia. Pakitanong din kung paano yung mga libingan natatamaan ng rehabilitasyon na hindi naman pwedeng galawin kasi bawal ho at lalong hindi pwedeng bayaran. Can I ask Mayor Mahul?
During the consultation po 2 days ago ay naitanong din yan. Yung pong sa ganong issue, kung meron pong tatamaan, especially yung expansion of roads, meron po tayong binubuong technical working group at ito po ay kasama dito ang ating mga ulama. Sila po ang ating hinga ng opinion dito kung paano natin i-handle yung mga possible na mga grave site, no, na kung saan nakalagay. Meron kasi sa amin sa Malawi City na yung kanilang mahal sa buhay ay minsan doon po mismo nililibing sa kanilang tabi ng kanilang bahay. So yan po ay being seriously addressed by the Task Force Bangon Marawi at hindi po natin i-violate ang of course yung sanctity ng yung kuwan na yun, yung mga taong maaaring maapektuhan ng rehabilitation. So yan po ay hindi ho outright na mangyayari, magkakaroon ng development doon sa mga posible na tatamaan na mga graveyard. So meron pong ongoing na usapan doon.
Maraming salamat, Mayor, para sa kasagutan ninyo. Si Val from RPN DXKO, and then the last question will come from BIEMA, Radyo Pilipinas.
Okay, good noon everyone. Dito lang sa ongoing infrastructure project sa Malawi ngayon. May we know if ano bang pera ang ginagamit dito? Galing ba sa gobyerno o sa yung mga donors ba? O saka gusto rin malaman kung magkano talaga yung na-receive nating aid. At saka yung kay Mayor naman, yung nakalista ng mga donors ninyo si Mayor, anong nagawa nun? Yan lang.
Maraming salamat sa inyong katanungan. Okay. Yung funding sources are coming from the funding are coming from different sources. Okay. So there is a huge commitment by the national government, and there are also commitments from the LGUs, from the city, the province, and also from the ARMM. And there are also pledges coming from our international development partners, and there are also pledges from the private sector, and humanitarian organizations are also helping now. And let's make a distinction between the funding of the response stage, which is the current stage. No? This includes the humanitarian related activities, and then let's distinguish that from the rehabilitation and recovery stage, wherein the medium to long-term projects, programs, and activities, or PPAs, will be undertaken. So yung mobilization of funding sources for the rehabilitation and recovery stage is currently ongoing. And meron ding nakalaan for 2018. You already know that there is a 10 billion fund from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund. There's a 10 billion component for Marawi, a 10 billion Marawi program. And in addition to that, there is a 5.38 billion commitment from the national government agencies' regular budget. No? So that means that the total national government commitment this year is 15.38 billion pesos. And then there's also a 1.5 billion commitment from the ARMM for 2018. And from the province, 58.97 million pesos. And from the city, 1 million pesos. And cost sharing by government entities and development partners, 2.23 billion pesos. Now, these are tentative figures except for the national government commitment. Kasi we are still firming up the exact list of the PPAs or the detailed projects and activities because there might be duplication. Perhaps we are in that stage now. We are looking at whether a specific activity is already being proposed by the ARMM or by another entity, no, to ensure na wala talagang duplication. No? But so far, as it's evolving, these are the figures for 2018. Now, for the coming years, there are specific plans naman by the Department of Finance. They are considering whether we need to issue bonds to fund the medium to long-term recovery. And we are also entertaining pledges by international development partners and foreign governments. No? So for that component, we cannot cite figures yet. No? Thank you. Thank you for your concern. So kaya nga we are having this kind of press briefing. The Philippine Information Agency is telling you what amounts came in, what kinds of in-kind donations came in for the humanitarian response stage, for the response stage. And then we are also being transparent in coming up with a BMCRRP, Bangon Marawi Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program, which will contain the actual figures and which agencies are accountable for this, so that concerns like yours can be addressed in the future.
Nais kong sagutin yung katanungan ng ating kapatid. But in addition doon sa sinabi ni Yusik Navarro doon sa katanungan ng ating kapatid about this billions of pesos being donated by foreign countries, gusto natin bigyan ng enlightenment ng ating mga kababayan at yung mga pledges po, yung mga sinasabing donations coming from foreign countries. Sa aking pagkakaalam, based doon sa aking pakikipasalamuha po sa mga officials from Task Force Bangon Marawi and the national government, ayun po ay mere pledges lang. Halimbawa po, sinabi ng United States of America na mag-donate sila ng 20 million dollars. Ayan po ay pledges at ito po ay minsan dinadaan po nila sa mga UN agencies, like for example, USAID, at nakikita natin yung mga agencies na yun dito na sila na po mismo ang gumagawa ng mga proyekto. Meron po sila mga contractors. Hindi po yan direkta sa national government or sa local government. Yan po ang nais nating paliwanagan ng ating mga kababayan. Doon naman po sa katanungan ng ating kapatid with regards to ano po ang ginagawa ng local government doon sa mga donations na maaring natatanggap. Sa amin naman po, sa local government of Marawi City, ay yun po ay ginagamit natin, augment natin doon sa ating 5% calamity fund. Ang Marawi City po ay hindi gano'ng kayaman, lalo na po ang nangyari dito ngayon sa atin, nawalan ho tayo ng local revenue. And in fact, even before the siege ay hindi po gano'ng kalaki ang ating local revenue dahil wala pong mga industries doon, wala pong malalaking establishment. Tayo po ay IRA dependent. At sa ating pagupo ay ginawa po natin na mag-generate ng local revenues. So, yun po, ino-augment po natin doon sa ating binibigay na ayuda sa ating mga kababayan dahil hindi lang po ang national government ang nagbibigay ng ayuda. Pati ho ang lokal na pamahalaan ng Marawi City, Lanao del Sur at ng ARM ay nagbibigay din po ng suporta sa ating mga affected constituents. Yan po ang ating gustong ibigay na paliwanag sa ating mga kababayan.
Maraming salamat, Mayor. We're actually running out of time. We can only take one last question. Biema.
Maayong buntag sa tanan. Pwede mag-ask ako, yung una is, yung follow-up lang ma'am, yung sa Send Home a Family program. Kasi may mga Christian po na sabi nila, may iba gustong umuwi, pero may iba naman na gusto nilang manalagi sa Marawi kasi doon daw maganda yung kita nila. So, tanong ko lang, kung ano po yung napapaloob doon sa livelihood, sa Send Home a Family program, kung may livelihood po ba yon na enough para po pagsimula yung pamilya na uuwi sa kanilang probinsya. Tapos yung pangalawang question ko naman ay tungkol po doon sa commercial ni Atom Araulio, yung sa McDonald's na kumakalat ngayon sa social media. Nagkaroon po yun ng iba't ibang reaksyon, pero karamihan po talaga sumama yung loob kasi yung iba nga, yung mga Maranao natin na mga kapatid, hindi naman nakakapasok sa sa MAA. Tapos bakit lumabas yung commercial ni Atom Araulio. Tanong ko po sa LGU, kay Mayor Mahul Gandamra, kung may nagreklamo ba sa iyo na nag-request na ano yung magiging reaction ninyo? At saka naman kay DJ Harold po, kasi di ba nasa communication tayo, paano po natin yun mapaintindi din sa ating mga kababayan. May consent po ba yung pagpapalabas ng commercial na yon?
Salamat sa katanungan. Nung isang araw ko lang po nalaman, pinakita ko sa akin ni Yusik Milyar ng HATSI yung commercial, no, from McDonald's. At yun po ay ako'y nagtaka dahil usually po ang ating ginagawa dyan ay nagpapaalam po lahat ng mga gumagawa ng limbawa kung may shooting ho sa isang lugar, sa isang lokalidad, ay they should have secured at least a permit from the local government for them to be allowed to make any commercial shooting or anumang palabas na gusto nilang gawin doon. At on the part of the city government of Malawi City, ay wala pong nagpaalam sa amin. Kanya po, kami po ay nag-a-appeal, ma-appeal sa lahat ng pumapasok doon, especially po kung mayroong commercial component ng pagbibigay ng information sa publiko, ay dapat po sanggunin nila o magpaalam po sila sa amin sa local government of Malawi City at it will be discussed naman. Hindi naman na outright na pagbabawalan natin. Titingnan natin kasi we have to consider also the sensitivities of our people, especially po na sinabi nyo na hindi naman na lahat ng taga Marawi nakakapasok sa ground zero or sa most affected areas.
To answer your question about the Send Home a Family program, I cannot give you the details right now because as I mentioned earlier, there are a total of 860 plus PPAs. No? So yung details wala sa harap ko ngayon. But I think the more important part of your question is yung additional support for these categories of IDPs. Now, there are PPAs or programs, projects, and activities under the livelihood and business development sector that can help them. Merong skills training on construction trades. There are also community-based, enterprise-based trainings. There are also livelihood starter kits, and there are also special financing packages like soft loans. So, itong menu of programs, projects na to, some of them are already being implemented because it's already 2018 and the DTI has funds for 2018 for Marawi. Some of them are being implemented and I'm hoping that those categories of IDPs are taking advantage of these offers, not only by DTI but also TESDA and some government corporations into small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Tungkol po dun sa video na lumabas, ang PCOO at ang PIA po ang nangunguna sa Information Management and Strategic Communication Support Group ng Task Force Bangon Marawi. Kaya patungkol po sa mga concerns na to, nai-involve po si Secretary Andanar at ako. Nung nakita namin yung video, I discussed this with the Secretary at nagtanong-tanong kami sa mga partners natin at mga stakeholders dito on the ground at nalaman po natin na talagang walang information. Mayroong nagpaalam sa ating Task Force Bangon Marawi Field Office na mag-shoot pero hindi in-explain yung tungkol doon sa commercial value noong video. Nakita natin na yung intent ay maayos, maganda para naman sa ating mga kababayan pero gusto nating i-reiterate sa ating mga partners, sa media, sa private sector at sa lahat nating mga kababayan na bago tayo magpalabas ng mga ganitong klaseng video or material, gaya na sinabi ni Mayor, isipin natin yung sensitivities ng mga tao, lalong-lalo na yung mga apektado. Nagkaroon ho tayo ng maraming usapin dito na pagdating sa pagpapalabas ng mga photos at mga videos sa most affected area, dapat magkaroon tayo ng konting regulation kasi hindi naman pwedeng basta sino na lang kumuha ng video at magpalabas. Sa case po na ito, nanawagan tayo sa McDonald's at kay Mr. Atom Arroyo at sa lahat po ng mga nagbabalak na gumawa ng similar material, lapitan po natin ang task force. Nandito naman po lahat ng mga ahensya na involved at lahat naman po ay pwedeng pag-usapan para matulungan din natin sila at mabigyan ng guidance kung paano i-treat ang itong ganitong klaseng mga material. So maraming salamat. I guess we've all covered all the questions. Medyo humaba tayo ng konti kasi unang pagkakataon natin na magsama-sama ulit. So we look forward to the next press briefing. Ang gagawin po natin ay mag-alternate po tayo sa ating regular press briefing with the Malacanang Press Corps at dito po sa TFBM Field Office in Iligan City. So maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood and back to studio.
Congratulations, sir.